Hey, everybody, and welcome. I'm Natalie. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. Today, we're going to be getting into Danny Masterson's Scientologist in good standing. His legal team tracked down jurors who found him guilty after a judge limited information about the jurors. Jurors, that's a fun word to say. We're going to get into that. Scientology is gearing up to use the holidays and the Boy Scouts of America to forward their cult agenda. We're going to look at that. We're also going to take another look at how Scientology is continuing to exploit asylum seekers and are getting themselves involved in their housing, which really makes us go, what's happening here? Why is this happening? What is it really about? Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here in the live chat. Thank you, moderators, for helping out. Beautiful members, I see you. Thank you for being here. And if you're catching this on the replay, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and jump in to those comments with us. Okay, before we get into some of that Danny Masterson nastiness with the jurors and all that, you guys got to see this clip here. This made me laugh. We're going to look at a couple funny, disturbing, yet interesting things. This is from Dan Walks LA, and I'm going to show you this clip. I'm going to tell you why I love it. So this is out front of the Los Angeles Scientology building over there off of L. Ron Hubbard Way and Sunset. And this is a Scientology recruiter speaking to somebody, handing out the propaganda. But then watch what happens when, just an ordinary citizen walks by.
Do you friends? Yeah. Yeah. Don't listen to them, they're a cult. It's a cult!
She basically is like, don't listen to them, they're a cult. And then Dan Walks LA, of course, says they're a cult. But I love that. Don't you love it when just everyday citizens are just joining the protest and letting people know, just casually walking by and being like, girl, that's a cult. You're in a cult. You're still in a cult, Tammy. I mean, it's just hilarious. I love it so much. That's a cult. Don't listen to them. That's a cult. Good for you, girl. Good for you. Oh, I love that was caught. Okay, now let's go over and look at, did you guys know there's it's like some type of video game. Their Exmo Lex is a YouTube channel here, and they're former Mormons. They talk about a lot of former, Mormon cult stuff. And they reviewed a cult video game, which is, this is kind of funny when you think about it, like how much the topic of cult is so much part of pulp culture. I think it's always been, but I feel in the last few years, it's even more so risen to the top as far as subjects that people are interested in, and all cults, not just Scientology, but Scientology is up there with the top cults that people are interested in because it's so crazy. And Scientology is known for taking things to the next level. They will cult a cult. You know what I'm saying? Scientology will out cult you every single time. But let's look at this clip here and see what this game is about.
Sometimes they're mean to each other.
You'll have
they fight.
You'll have people you'll have followers come up to you and ask to do like a little side quest, and if you don't fulfill it, they will start to dissent and preach against you. You'll also have people come into your cult area that are not members of your cult.
Isn't that crazy that even in the online cult game, they've got haters and trolls in there too?
And sometimes if you have like a lot of followers, it's hard to notice them.
Little spies.
The only way that we really pick them up is because we name all of them, and you walk by like their place that they sleep and it shows their name, and when you walk next to them it shows their name, and if I walk by one and it's like, I don't recognize that name.
We didn't name anybody that.
Then we throw them in the stocks.
But yeah, I mean, you can put people in prison, you can kill people, you can marry people. There's so many different things. And at some point in the game, you can allow your followers to sin, which is a really, really fun part of the game as well.
Yeah.
Like,
you can allow your followers to sin. You can even put them in jail. Oh, it sounds crazy, but I'm not going to lie. I find it a little interesting. I don't know where you play it or how you do. I'm not really big on video games, mostly because the new ones today, I think it's an age thing. it just like, it gives me vertigo. I just, in following, it's too realistic looking. I mean, that one wasn't. I feel like that's a game I could play, but my speed is like Ms. Pac-Man. Like that is my jam. My sister Lana and I have had multiple Ms. Pac-Man showdowns. Sometimes she beats me, sometimes I beat her, but I feel like she has the advantage because she has one of those games at her house, like the actual sit down and, play the game with the controller. You guys play, tell me in the live chat, tell me in the comments, y'all, because I feel like a lot of you are close to my age. What was your video game of the 80s? For me, it was Ms. Pac-Man. Do you guys remember? I think it's so interesting today, though, that you can actually go play a game where you can create this whole cult in a game. But yeah, it looks like we got some Ms. Pac-Man fans. Thanks, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Tony actually got this for me for Christmas some years ago. It's so comfortable. I love it. And it has pockets. And your girl likes pockets. I really do. Donkey Kong. Oh, yeah, Marcy. That's right. Stargate, Donkey Kong. Oh, David Bruce bringing it with the asteroids. I remember that. Chrissy Neverin. Space Invaders. Yes. Yes. Oh, I just feel like I'm getting all these dopamine hits being revitalized from my time as hanging out at the arcade and playing games. I love it. I love it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. Now to something a little bit more icky. Now on to something a little more icky. Let's talk about that Danny Masterson's attorneys and what they're up to. This is crazy. So Danny Masterson's attorneys tracked down jurors after they found him guilty of I don't know if we're further enough in the video I can say that, but you know what it is. You all know why that man is sitting in jail. So attorneys working for that 70s show star Danny Masterson tracked down jurors who found him guilty of R in a move that troubled, and that's a quote, troubled the judge in the case who had issued an order to limit available information about them. Who does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like some serious Scientology move there? Like a lack of boundaries. Like, here's a boundary. We're setting a boundary. Even when a judge sets a boundary, Scientology is going to try and cross that stuff every day, all day. But this is saying like, okay, it was his attorneys. Masterson 48 is currently appealing his May 2023 conviction in which he was found to have R two women in the cult of Scientology in the early 2000s. He was sentenced, blah, 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 blah. Here's the deal, though. Here's where the troubling part comes in. According to the LA Times, Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Charlene Olmedo said she was troubled by the conduct of the attorneys who contacted jurors to interview them as part of his appeal effort, despite a judge's order meant to limit the amount of publicly available information about them. Olmedo said she received complaints from jurors who felt pressured by the defense team. Another quote, they felt pressured by the defense team, adding that they were not advised that they had the absolute right not to discuss the case if they did not want to. She wrote that several jurors had been the subject of unwanted contact at their homes or work by members of the defense team, and they wanted her to inquire how the defense team obtained their identifying information. Again, who is known for not recognizing boundaries even when legally set for them. This is so on brand for something Scientology would do. And we know that Masterson's attorneys are working with Scientology. The judge said she was troubled that they were approached at their homes. Can you imagine? You're mowing your lawn, you're minding your own business. You're just trying to get on with your life after this horrific trial and being exposed to all the nitty-gritty details. And you find the man guilty. You're feeling good about that. You're just out there mowing your lawn, trying to do your own thing. And people show up at your house and are like, hey, juror who found Danny Masterson guilty, we have questions for you. It's weird. It's weird. Think about it this way too. Like, how often do people even show up and knock on our doors anymore? Not that much. I mean, maybe the occasional solicitor, Girl Scouts during cookie season, and I'm down with that. They can knock on my door anytime. I mean, just, it's just not that common, but to show up like that, I'm like, ooh, that's just rude. That's so rude. So let's see. So, of course, they were troubled. The newspaper reported that court filings showed jurors emailed Olmedo over concerns that Masterson's lawyers weren't supposed to know where they lived or worked. That's a great question. How did they find out where they lived or worked? And then these are just, some more photos from that 70s show. Yeah, that's a good question. How did they find out where they lived or worked? So, again, so culty, so culty, so culty. Rude too. I can't even imagine. I keep trying to put myself in their shoes. And I'm glad they reached out to the judge. But when you take efforts to protect and protect the identity of these jurors, and this other legal team goes at and tracks them down and then just shows up at their homes, like, that's just weird. It's so weird. Anne from MA says, in my opinion, Scientology just can't learn from their mistakes. They just keep living in the past. They do. And the biggest reason that they do that is because it is part of the Scientology doctrine to do what L. Ron Hubbard said. You just got to do what he said. It doesn't matter how long ago. In fact, we're going to look at a clip from Jeff at PTS for Life that kind of makes this point about that. We're going to look at that in just a little bit. But before we do, let us wash the filth. I feel like I don't have my incest lit, but let us clear the negative Masterson energy from all of us. Okay, and let's move on to some other gross Scientology news, this time involving asylum seekers. We talked about this the other day, that this story came out that Scientology was recruiting asylum seekers and trying to make it sound like, hey, if you work for us, if you spend 8 hours a day at least handing out our pamphlets or cleaning our buildings, we're going to give you a piece of paper. We're going to give you like this certificate, and it's going to help with your process in asylum seeking. No, it doesn't work like that. It has no bearing on it. Reports have come out saying, no, doesn't work like that. Only the people who have the decision to make those decisions are making them. It doesn't matter what you're doing with Scientology, but of course, Scientology is trying to take advantage of a vulnerable group of people and use them as free labor. And you can't tell me they're not trying to recruit them onto staff or in the Sea Organization as well. And there, the human trafficking starts. They can then continue to work for free for $47 a week, little to no money for Scientology, maybe under a religious visa or something like that. So let's take a look at this, because this has taken a twist, you guys. So in addition to that, Scientology cult challenges property termination notice in Blessington. So members and volunteers of the controversial organization have been residing in homes within the Avon Resort in Blessing County, Wicklow. Now, I find it interesting too, because it's like volunteers and members, yet what we're going to talk about, this housing is supposed to be for asylum seekers. But there's also Scientology members and volunteers. Are they the asylum seekers themselves who Scientology has working for them? Or, I mean, is Scientology putting their actual staff and members in this housing not meant for them? I don't know. There's multiple ways we can kind of pick this apart. You guys tell me what you think. I'm going to continue on here with this article. Members and volunteers. Okay, we did that one. These properties are owned by Arturo Ventures Unlimited, a company specializing in accommodation for asylum seekers. And, I did just a really brief, went to the Google machine. And this company, it sounded like it was started in 2023. It's fishy. I feel like there's smoke here. And where there's smoke, there's fire. According to the Irish Independent, Arturo Ventures, established in September of the previous year, has received 758,000 pounds and change, in funding from the Department of Integration for housing Ukrainian refugees. So that's a lot of money. And the cult of Scientology initiated a legal action earlier this year after receiving 14 termination notices from the landlord. According to the RTB, agreements were reached in all cases. So Diana Stahl, the Cult of Scientology Director of Public Affairs, which is pretty much the Office of Special Affairs, quote, they were not eviction notices. Don't you like to? So here's the thing. It's like, okay, Scientology, you have members and volunteers in housing meant for Ukrainian asylum seekers, and you get told, like, get out. And the big thing you're coming to with the paper, your comment is, oh, it wasn't a termination notice. No, no. They just politely asked us to move on. No, it was a termination notice. I mean, what else would you call it? It's like, get out. We're no longer renting to you. There's so much more there. I hope somebody is going to dig in who's involved in the media there. And because I think this is in Dublin, in Ireland, and really find out like what's up. Hey, Church of Satiretology, aloha to you, and thank you for being here. So let's see, was that it on this? I just, that one comment, I'm like, why? That's your comment? They were not even eviction notices. Several months ago, the cult reached an agreement with the landlord to extend the tenancy of its volunteers and members for a period of time we felt would be sufficient to find alternative accommodation. So that is a quote from that Diana Stahl, who is basically the Office of Special Affairs rep for Scientology there. So she's like, yeah, they weren't eviction notices. We're just, we just needed more time. And the quote continues, we will ensure that everyone has suitable accommodation to relocate to within the available time. I would also like to add that as we are referring to the private homes of families and children, I believe it's inappropriate to comment further on this matter. Okay, so basically they're like, shut up. Stop talking about it. These are the private homes of individuals. You shouldn't be talking about it. Are you serious? Are you serious, Scientology? You shouldn't comment about the private matters of individuals? Really? I don't know, pot kettle there. I just love, though, how Scientology is, when it's something that they want to expose or they want to throw shade at somebody or claim that someone who is critical of or exposing Scientology is some type of criminal. I mean, these are the same people as Mark Bunker, the wise beard man, shared the other day, picketed outside his house. Outside his house. So that's a private home, but I mean, you still went there. They have a long history of doing this. So interesting comments to make there, Scientology, from your Office of Special Affairs, which we may as well wake them up now. Office of Special Affairs, David Miscavige, your leader, summons you. Rise. You got to just stop with this. I'm telling you. It's like, do you hold meetings? Are there meetings where you're like, hey, let's decide what we're going to say on this? Yeah, sure, we're getting these asylum seekers to come over and do free work for Scientology. But hey, we're going to help find them a place to live. Are you putting your own people in there? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm just saying there are so many holes in this of like, what is happening there? What is happening? What is happening in Dublin? We need to know. We need to find out. I'm telling you. That's right, Lisa. There goes Davy flying through the air. It is just not a recap day without that. Okay, so enough of that. Now, speaking of when I was mentioning Jeff at PTS for Life, we're just going to look at a little clip because it kind of makes the point of how off Scientology is when it comes to public relations and what Scientology thinks are public relations activities versus what actually are, and what L. Ron Hubbard says about it. Because, a good Scientologist is going to be like, what did Ron say? What did L. Ron Hubbard say to do in this situation? Oh, back in 1968, he said that it's not applicable at all today, but we're going to keep doing it anyways because we have to follow the dictates of L. Ron Hubbard. Unless, dear leader, who's down on the floor right now, David Miscavige, tells us otherwise. Okay, so let's see. Let's go. This is PTS for Life here. Let's pull it up and take a look. He is sharing something from the Office of Special Affairs files. So my friends in the Office of Special Affairs, pay attention still. Let's take a look at this.
When you degrade your statements about Scientology into a pale defense, you are out reality.
When you degrade your statements about Scientology into a pale defense, you are out our reality, right? So that goes in alignment with what L. Ron Hubbard says, which is never defend, always attack. Never defend, always attack.
Meaning it's not speaking to someone's reality or how they actually feel or think about something. In fact, you are being a bald-faced liar. My goodness, sir. If you have any doubts about what Scientology can do, and if you think its results are all bad, even in some tiny mission or org, you should get in touch with the production lines and actually talk to some people about what Scientology has just done for them. It isn't slight.
So this is just, and again, this was something written a long time ago by L. Ron Hubbard, and they still have to follow it. And you can see the mindset. I mean, it says right here, there is no other agency on earth that could have done that for them. No other agency on earth. The hype that Scientology will give to its members, but mainly even people who do their dirty work, like the Office of Special Affairs, and even Scientologists who volunteer to be like the Facebook police. Anyone who's left Scientology, if you were on social media, you would probably had an interaction with the Facebook police. And this is made up of a few Scientologists who take it very seriously to comb through your friend list and cross-check it. I mean, do these people keep spreadsheets? I imagine some giant chart, and they're charting it all out. Who is friends with who? And they will contact you and be like, hey, Natalie is not in good standing with Scientology anymore. And we see that you're friends with her on Facebook and she is a suppressive person. You need to unfriend her and block her immediately. Who does that? Who does that? Scientology does that. They love to tell you who you can and can't be friends with. That is a very Scientology culty state of mind. It never occurs to them that it's none of their business. This is something that I think if Scientology could adopt this one concept and sit in it and be with it, and that should be their response when a Scientologist is friends with somebody or doing something over there, it's none of your business. And just leave it be. The need or the desire for one individual or human to interfere in the relationships of other people and tell them who they should talk to, who they should be friends with, who they shouldn't be friends with, all of that, it's none of your business. I mean, that's kind of the simplicity of it. I feel that way. It's like, go be friends with who you want to be friends with, because you know what? It's none of my business. I'm over here living my life, doing my thing. And it is a key theme in Scientology that you'll hear from so many former members who experience this with the Facebook police. And that the Facebook police is made up of volunteers. These aren't even Scientology staff members or the Sea organization themselves. They like decided, hey, I want to do this. I want to spy for Scientology and I want to rat out on people who used to be my friends. It is so ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as the upcoming Hollywood Christmas parade and what Scientology is doing. Hey, Dusty, I saw you pop in there. Miss Kim, welcome. Ooh, bunch of you popping in. Great to see you guys. Make sure when you come in, head over and show that like button some aloha. We're told that helps with notifications. It's an experiment. We're trying it out. Vanessa says, oh, the OSA trolls, they freelance gratis for OSA to do Scientology's dirty work. Yeah, a lot of times when you do volunteer work like that for the Office of Special Affairs and you're doing Scientology's dirty work, that Scientologist is doing so, one, for, the pat on the back they're going to get from Scientology, but it helps them show and prove themselves to Scientology that, hey, look, I'm ratting out my friends earlier. I am worthy of the upper levels on the bridge to total freedom. I am worthy. It's so sick. Mind your business. Mind your own business. It's so simple. One of my favorite things to do is be home minding my own business. Except when it comes to Scientology, then I'm all up in it. Okay, so anyways, Hollywood Christmas parade. So you guys know Scientology has a float in this thing each year, and they do it under Galaxy Press, which is Scientology. It is run by members of the Sea organization. This is Scientology, but they do it under the front group name of Galaxy Press because, they're trying to dodge and not let people know that they're Scientology. So let's take a look at this because it is now out. So here is, for example, this is Galaxy Press. This is their float in the parade. L. Ron Hubbard, stories from the golden age. And then there are people who hold on to it. They're wranglers, I believe they're called, just like in the Macy's Thanksgiving parade that we all see. The disturbing thing here is that for the 2024 Hollywood Christmas Parade, the Scientology-sponsored Galaxy Press float says right on there, L. Ron Hubbard's stories from the golden age is being wrangled by the Boy Scouts of America, which is like, whoa, wait a minute. Is Scientology trying to align themselves with the Boy Scouts of America? Yeah, they are. They have been for a while. This is disturbing on a few levels because I'm not sure like what do the Boy Scouts of America know about it? And the Boy Scouts of America, they've gone through an evolution. Girls can join now, I think since like 2019, and that's why next year in February they are moving forward with a rebranding and a new name. They're no longer going to be the Boy Scouts of America. They're actually going to be called Scouting. I think Scouting America, Scouts America, because again, girls can now join the Boy Scouts. And they've changed some other policies as well to make their organization more inclusive. But including Scientology is taking it too far because Scientology is a human trafficking cult. And yeah, if you know anybody in the Boy Scouts of America, especially in Hollywood, whoever's making this decision could definitely use a link to this video, or Aaron Smith-Levin on Growing Up in Scientology did a video about it to let them know. Desert Dog says, Boy Scouts of America, have you learned nothing from being exposed? Yes. Angry in Texas says, I can't watch parades. Parades in general, or just one that Scientology is in? I'm curious about that. Sue says the Boy Scouts already use all the Truth About Drugs programs. Now, does a certain chapter use them, or are they using it on a national level? I'm curious about that, Sue. If you know anything more, let me know, and feel free to email me too. Remember, guys, if you see something, say something, email me, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. Send me a link to articles. You can send me timestamps to videos, any kind of Scientology or even culty things that catch your eye. Parents, keep your eyes open if you have kids in the Boy Scouts. Yeah, use that as an opportunity to educate them on, hey, did you see? I mean, it's interesting, like, hey, did you hear that this happened? Why would the Boy Scouts be supporting Scientology? And here's the other thing. Here's what it looks like. Scientology knows that they're going to be protested at the Christmas parade, at Winter Wonderland, at their holiday lighting things, all of the things. And it would seem that this is their response to that. Oh, we'll just throw some Boy Scouts on there and then surely people won't protest it. No, I don't think that's the case. I think that they still will. And my hope is that before this happens, somebody's able to reach the Boy Scouts of America and say, hey, do you realize that you're putting kids in charge of holding a float for an organization that covers up child SA? I don't know, just not good positioning for me. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Marcy was a brownie. That's as far as you got. I was a troop leader. My oldest was in the Girl Scouts, or was it Brownies? I think it might have been Brownies. I'm not sure. Anyways, one season I was a troop leader because, to be honest, I didn't want to have to drive to a meeting. So I said, I'll do it. Let's just have it at my house. Make it easy on myself. And actually, it was quite a bit of fun. It was really actually a lot of fun. But that was my one experience. My daughter didn't really continue on with it. All right, so let's see. We've looked at the float. We are adequately annoyed about that. Now, let's go a little bit deeper into this connection with scouting that Scientology is trying to make. Scientology claims that L. Ron Hubbard is the youngest person ever to reach the state of Eagle Scout, and there's no way to confirm that. In fact, there was a video that Aaron at Growing Up in Scientology did. Let's take a look at a clip.
Scientology likes to make a lot of hay about L. Ron Hubbard having been a Boy Scout. And they say he was the country's youngest Eagle Scout ever. I don't know if they say he is still the youngest person to have ever achieved that status, or if he was at the time. My understanding is that this is a claim that could never be proven because they didn't keep those kind of records back then, is what I recall in from the L. Ron Hubbard biography, Barefaced Messiah. But in any event, I think Scientology has managed to get like the Boy Scouts of America to sort of jump on board with this narrative.
I think officially, I remember once it was confirmed that they don't have records for that. So they could not confirm or deny that that claim by Scientology is true, that L. Ron Hubbard was the youngest Eagle Scout. Unlike other things, but look at his war record that Scientology claims. It just would stand to reason that given that Scientology has lied about almost every narrative they give about L. Ron Hubbard's past, that this would not be accurate in some way as well. They lied about his war record. They lie about his injuries during the war. They lied about his connections to Jack Parsons. They lied about a lot when it comes to L. Ron Hubbard. And, what they didn't count on is the internet and how accessible so much information is. And there are people who actually researched it. And we're like, no, that's actually not true. That did not happen. That did not happen. I'm laughing at some of your comments about brownies and Girl Scouts and stuff. Amber says, I used to know a bunch of Scientologist moms that run a Boy Scout troop, and they do homeschooling and all hang out together. Yeah, there are different scouting troops within the Scientology community in Los Angeles and in Clearwater as well. And again, it's another way to try and align themselves with legitimate organizations. And I mean, let's be honest, hopefully the kids who do get involved in scouting, get to actually do the activities, that it's not just, we're just there in name, like many things that Scientology will do. They'll join different interfaith communities to basically for clout and then not actually participate in those activities. Some do, some don't, I'm sure. That sounds like an individual thing that an individual Scientologist would do. Just a Northern girl. LRH has told so many lies. Believe nothing. That's true. It's like believe nothing. Question everything. Rona says, but he would have been given a badge or something, which he would have produced if it happened. It's probably very well true that he was an Eagle Scout, but the youngest one ever, I don't know. That's a claim they make, but as we've, come to learn, we have to question everything from Scientology. Now let's take a look at what's coming up with Scientology recruitment for the holidays. Oh, they're just doubling down, you guys. It's going to be very interesting. It is going to be a very interesting holiday. I feel like we're going to have our own protest movie. It's like a Hallmark movie about Scientology in the holidays, but it's going to be about protesting, live streaming, and exposing Scientology. It's going to be a very interesting holiday because you guys remember last year during Winter Wonderland is when the Los Angeles protest movement, which was started by William Good, Scientology Audit Streets LA, really took off and other people started to come and join in. William Good had been out there in front of the Scientology Testing Center by himself for a couple of months. And Winter Wonderland was a huge part of that. I mean, the content, what we were able to watch and follow along with was crazy what happened there. So there are things that Scientology is doing in Los Angeles and Hollywood, and we're going to take a look at some of those. So first, take a look at this. This is the Cult of Scientology Los Angeles Facebook page, and you can see right here, they're getting very excited for their annual holiday lighting ceremony and festival on Saturday, November 23rd. You're welcome to come flip the switch with us as we light up 2 city blocks and enjoy a night full of holiday cheer, family fun and treats from a merry-go-round, Ferris wheel, ice skating and face painting to photos with Santa and a petting zoo. There's something for everyone. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. So this must be from previous years. Make sure you guys can see this. This is the Santa they had. This is the ice skating, which is that actual ice? Like, how does that not melt? Or is it a platform? Are there wheels on those skates? I don't know. How do you do that where it's warm? I mean, gosh, there's a guy in the background. Looks like he's in a t-shirt. These are other people outside there. So here on their Facebook page, they share images from previous years, how excited they are. But that's a lot. A petting zoo, a merry-go-round, and a Ferris wheel. So that's this weekend. And I'm sure somebody will be out there giving us a bird's eye view of what's happening. But it also sounds, I feel like Scientology will promise things and say, oh, we're going to do this for the community. And then they don't. It's like such a letdown. Sometimes I think they just want to put out the press and all that and claim they're doing it to try and get the clout and, oh, look at what we're doing. But then it ends up being some Temu version of what they actually claimed they were going to produce. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Saturday will roll around and there will be a petting zoo, a merry-go-round, all of those things. It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot. And that's over off of L. Ron Hubbard Way. So that's not even at like Winter Wonderland. It's not. And so Dan Walks LA, if you guys aren't following Dan Walks LA, go check out Dan Walks LA here on YouTube. He was out at the Blue Building doing the rounds, and there were so much crazy things kind of going on to see and signs of what is coming. And in fact, you know what? Here's what we're going to do, you guys. I have a contact in LA who has some inside scoop, who's been witnessing a lot of what's been going on. And I'm going to bring that person in to be able to talk about this because I just feel like it's time. So hold on. I'm just going to go grab them. Hey, everybody. I am Coney. I am the cone from out front of the Blue Buildings of Scientology. You'll see me and my friends out there all the time. And I've got the scoop on what is happening with Scientology at the Blue Buildings. Scientology likes to put us cones out there to block traffic, to block people, to get in the way, to make it seem like, I don't know, the power of the cone. Because when you see a cone like this, it means stop. Don't cross. Don't come in here. We hold a lot of power and we see everything. So I'm going to share some stuff with you guys. Let's take a look at this. Dan Walks LA here, right here, my people. There we are, all lined up there. Blocking what? I don't know. We don't ask. They just put us where they put us.
Squirrel.
Did you see the squirrel run past there? So we don't really know what our job is, but we see everything. And we're going to share with you some stuff that we saw along with Dan Walks LA. He comes out to see us all the time. First off, he runs into this woman who looks like she's handling some Christmas lights. And from what we have seen, us cones on the scene, we saw this. They've been untangling Christmas lights because Scientology's holiday lighting this weekend is coming up and they need to put out all of the lights. Let's take a look at this clip.
If you need help leaving Scientology, miss, I can help you. I have a pretty loaded car, but you wouldn't be the first Scientologist to escape in a trunk. All you need to know, miss, is that you've been mocking up your own reactive mind, and you don't have to do it anymore. That's the clear cognition, okay? Save yourself, your money, your time, your life.
Now that's what gets her to walk away, because even as us cones know on L. Ron Hubbard Way, the clear cognition or realization is highly confidential. It's like $100,000 to get there till you realize what's happening. But we've known a long time because we see everything and we hear everything. everything. That is the point where she walks off. They are not allowed to hear confidential level material because it is squirrel, as they call it.
Your family loves you and misses you. Reconnect with your family. Call your mom.
Call your mom. That was the best part. In fact, we heard word too that Scientology was having briefings, confidential briefings, telling people to call their moms, call your family. Don't be such a bee during the holidays to actually reach out. Now, there's more to look at because Dan Walks LA saw there. So here's the other thing they're doing out in LA. Holly Jolly Holiday Hangout. We're going to look at that. That's on Sundays from 12 to 5. And I think it is going to be each Sunday leading up to Christmas because they have a permanent sign up. And supposedly they did this last Sunday, but I don't know if anybody was out there to capture it. If you guys know, let me know. Let me know. All right, take a look at this.
Osa.
Scientology is next level with the cameras too. I feel like they've added more along the bushes there. I think that they did. Okay, everybody say goodbye to Coney. Look at my hair. Oh, I got to plan that better. It might need to be a whole separate video and reel because now it's like I'm all jacked up. Let's calm it down. Okay, so how crazy is that, right? They're setting up. They're going to do the lighting ceremony. That's going to be this Saturday. Then they're doing this holiday, get with Santa thing on Sundays. They also are going to have Winter Wonderland going on because they've just started building it very late, in my opinion. I feel like they started earlier last year. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Oh, Marcy, I'm glad you like Coney. Coney's going to have to come back and just tell it like it is. You know what I'm saying? Because those cones are all over L. Ron Hubbard Way, all over the blue buildings. And I feel like they see everything and they know everything. James Steele says statues don't look right without a cone or pair of trainers hanging on them. That's right. Now I have cone hair and cone head, and I'm hot too. Oh, okay. So Winter Wonderland. This is the other thing. Scientology is doing so much in Los Angeles and Hollywood to recruit this year. I think we need to keep an eye out at other Scientology organizations. They all tend to do it. Oh, come bring your kids for Cocoa with Santa. Oh, here's a way to happiness book. Oh, come do a personality test. It's to get the bodies in the shop. That is an actual statistic in Scientology called bodies in the shop. That's what they do. Remember, Scientology refers to people never in Scientology as raw meat. If you're a prospect, you are raw meat. Ooh, it's so gross. It grosses me out every time I say it. Okay, let's look at what Dan Walks LA came across in Hollywood, showing that Winter Wonderland is indeed being built.
It's okay to leave Scientology. Wow. And with the Eagles. Wow. They're really going for it.
And notice too,
Really going.
look how, the netting really goes up high because they want to block being able to see. Somebody just needs a really tall selfie stick to get around that. But they are in there building Winter Wonderland right next to the Hollywood Testing Center as per usual. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens, especially with the protests and protesters. So if you're keeping track, we've got that parade that's going to be coming up, the Hollywood Christmas Parade. Will the Boy Scouts of America follow through on wrangling Scientology's float? We're going to have to wait and see. And then they've got this Sunday event they're going to be doing at the Blue Buildings to try and get kids and families there with Santa. They're doing the lighting ceremony. That's this weekend. So all kinds of things that are happening that we're going to keep an eye on. And if you live in other areas, keep an eye out. Check your Eventbrite in your area because Scientology will usually throw events up on there. And let me know, because if you see something, say something. Natalie at lifeafteroccult.com. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys something. That's right, Marcy. That's so sick of Scientology. I know. Vanessa says, do they get to count bodies in the shop if they only make it onto L. Ron Hubbard Way? Girl, you know they're going to try. You know they are. You know they're going to try. I don't know, because does it count as the building if you convert the parking lot to be an extension of the Scientology building? I mean, talk about a stat push. That's what it's called in Scientology, when you pretty much are just like, you're dishonestly trying to raise your statistics and make it look like something it's not. That happens a lot in Scientology. They have to do the stat pushes because there's nothing really happening. There is no actual expansion in Scientology. That's why you'll attend events in Scientology year after year. For example, L. Ron Hubbard's birthday event, and you'll hear all these statistics and numbers get thrown at you in an overwhelming way. It's like you're in a casino, flashing lights, all this noises is going on. You are so confused. You don't know what's happening. You're just led to believe that Scientology has all this great expansion. Then when you attend the following year, they're not showing the same statistics. There's no apples to apples comparison. If they share, the number of Dianetics books sold, if that's not up the following year, they share other statistics. They put the focus somewhere else. And I wouldn't put it past them to just make it up completely. Their graphics, their propaganda machine that they use to convince Scientologists that Scientology is expanding is next level and very crazy. All right, let's see. I've got something else to share with you guys. Hey, did you guys see my baking video? I was inspired by Jenna Miscavige and what she's been doing. And if you follow my channel, you know I suck in the kitchen. So I'm trying to gain inspiration, and I thought maybe I could make some cookies for the holidays. And I just wanted to try something new. I'm going to show you a clip from that video. I'm going to link everything down below after this video. Anna from Canada, good point. I can't believe they're going to do Winter Wonderland again. They're really suckers for punishment. Yeah, they are. Oh, and I got to admit, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, so let's take a look at a video I shared yesterday. You guys, please go check it out. It's basically me, the hot mess, trying to figure out my way around the kitchen as I explore my life after a cult. Woo! See? Woo! Oh, ouch! This oven mitt doesn't do shit. Damn it. Oh, there's a hole in it. Oh, now I'm burning the counter. Damn it. Why is the stove beeping? Okay, that's okay. I think it needs to go back in the oven. Oh my gosh, I think I burnt my hand. Why are you beeping? All right. Oh, God, that's hot. Woo! See? Woo! But go ahead and check it out. Check it out, you guys. But I have to share. At the end, so I end up thinking that the cookies aren't that great because I did not follow any of the directions hardly at all. The cookies were allowed to cool. And Oliver came home and I'm like, Oliver, try these cookies. And he tried it. And he this is the best cookie I've ever had. And I'm like, you are such a liar. And I grabbed one of the cookies. This is like a good hour or so after they cooled. And I had one. They were good. They just had to cool like the directions said. Jenna Miscavige helps me out in the video. I'm going to be doing more like that because I thought, you know what? Why should I figure these things out on my own? I'm going to bring you guys along with me. So if you like that kind of content, make sure you check it out and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. And you might want to set your notification bell to all so you supposedly get notifications. I'm in such apathy about notifications. Can you tell? Maybe you'll get a notification. Maybe you won't. I don't know. Try it out. Set that notification bell to all. But check it out and jump in those comments and let me know what you think. I think I'm actually going to install a gate today above my stairs. See if I can figure that out. So I might bring you guys along with me on that. We'll see. Later on today, I'm going to be on Tori Magoo 44's channel if everything goes as planned. Not on my channel, just on hers. 4 p.m. Central is when we're sitting down and we're going to be doing that. Just a Northern girl. I love that. I'll be there every day, all day. Thank you so much. I love that. Yes, Marlene, Oliver is a sweetheart. He is indeed. And he was right. I ate a bunch of them because I'm like, oh, these are low sugar, they're gluten-free, and they actually taste good. They would probably taste even better if I didn't mess up the recipe, which you see me just completely struggle with during the video. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys. Well, you'll see me on Tories. Otherwise, you never know when I'll pop on. Get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.